Everybody, let's get going. We're going to talk about excuse me, the male reproductive system today and finish up the words on our list. And then that's it. That's the whole class. You have learned basically 1,000 new words, abbreviations, and prefixes and suffixes, which is pretty incredible. All right, I'm missing my pencil sharpener. Hold on, we'll go with that. Okay, cool. All right, so we're gonna do a couple of words that could kind of go either way, and then we will get into the male reproductive system. And then if you have any questions at the end, you're more than welcome to ask. So let's do a couple words here. Okay, so let me share my screen. Maybe. Here we go. Slide this over a little bit. Okay, so arc, A-R-C-H, arc or archy. This can be a root word or a suffix. It means beginning or original. So when a female gets their period for the first time, it's called menarche. Okay. So original or beginning, and then menstruation, so it's their original menstruation. Okay. Genito is just referring to the genitalia, which are the secondary sexual characteristics in humans. Genitalia. Okay. So what's the word I'm looking for? A urologist, usually, not always, but they very often genitourinary. Okay. And that's where we're referring to both the genitals and also the urinary system. And we talked about a couple of times how the males, two systems are interconnected, while the females are not. So this is more likely referring to in the male, because those systems do connect, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. So there's any other ones that could go either way. Gonado, they are referring to the gonads, which are another name for the secondary sexual characteristics. And then gonads can also be referring to the it's not the secondary sexual characteristics. Gonads are referring to, I'm having a hard time with words this morning. The ovary and the testicle. Okay, so the egg and sperm producing organs are called the gonads, and then also the egg and the sperm could be called a gonad also. So that's referring to ovary or the ovum, which is an egg, which we'll write down here in just a second. Also the testicle or testes, and the sperm. So the gonads, these are what they are. Okay. Perennio is the perineum, which we learned at the very beginning. Like I'm spelling this wrong. Perineum, which we learned about at the very beginning of the year. The perineum is the space between basically the urethral opening and the anus, right? Which we've already talked about. You should already know that one. Perennial might have been the word we learned, but the perineum is located between the anus and basically the urethral opening in both males and females. Okay. Vesico we've done before. Vesico. A couple, I think more than once actually. It's a fluid-filled sac. We'll get more of that one in just a minute. And then the last two, ova and sperm, these are the sex cells in humans. So an ova is a female sex cell. You more commonly hear it called an egg, right? They are produced Remember we talked about in females, all of them are produced before the child is birthed, and then they arrest or stop during mitosis, and then once menstruation, when menarche begins, so once puberty begins and menarche begins in a female, then she'll start releasing one every month. When the egg is released, it's called ovulation, and then before ovulation, during the menstrual cycle, the egg will finish going through mitosis, and then it'll be released. Okay, and the male sex cell is a sperm. So these are both produced from germ cells that go through meiosis, and we produce egg and sperm. In a female, one germ cell will produce one egg and 3 what are called polar bodies, which are non-functional. And then for every one germ cell in a male, they will produce 4 active sperm. Sperm look a little different. So eggs look like an egg. It's round, right? It's a single cell. Sperm look kind of like this. Kind of have this little thing here. And then they have a flagellum. This is the only place in the human body where flagella exist. Okay, so flagella are a long whipping tail, and it gives it the ability to move itself so that it can move through the female reproductive system to try to fertilize an egg. That's what sperm want to do. That's what they're designed to do. They are designed to fertilize an egg. Male, like we talked about, produce sperm their entire life. And yeah, so they have this long flagellum that helps move it. On the front, this is basically the cell body of it. There's also an outer layer, and we'll talk about what the outer layer is in just a minute, that actually helps protect it. The female reproductive system is caustic is the word I'm thinking, but that's not the right word, is a hostile, that's better, I guess, a hostile environment. It's acidic. There's a variety of different things located within the female reproductive system. And so only the strongest sperm, who are the strongest swimmers and basically are best protected, will make it to fertilize an egg. Okay. Hold on, I gotta move this a little bit. So these sperm are constantly being produced. During ejaculation, they are released and they swim. That's their job. They swim, and they're going to swim, okay, up the vagina, through the cervix, up through the uterus, and then into the fallopian tube, where they are going to be looking for an egg. Okay. This whole journey is, like I said, it's acidic. It's like warm, and there's a variety of different things happening, where only the strongest sperm will make it to the actual egg. And then when they get to the egg is a lot bigger than the sperm. Sperm are very small compared to eggs. Let me just draw this. So let's say that this is the egg. There's a picture somewhere. I wonder if I have it somewhere. So you have the egg, and then you're going to have a variety of sperm that are going to be trying to break through the outer layer of the egg. Okay, and it's basically only the strongest and the fastest sperm that's going to get through. As soon as the sperm gets through, this egg has become fertilized, and the other sperm no longer have a chance, and they end up basically dying. Okay, so that's how fertilization works. But sperm have to be very strong. Okay, let me grab this book here really fast. All right, so let's get into the male reproductive system, since we've already started, which is this picture. We're looking at a side view here. There are some things on this picture you can probably already figure out what they are. Maybe, maybe not. Let's see, put this up a little bit higher. Maybe, come on. This delayed thing makes it really hard for me to figure out where exactly to put the picture. Okay, cool. So this right here is the anus, okay? So you'd have the rectum and the anus, be the sigmoid colon right here. Sigmoid colon's right there, okay? Here is the bladder. Okay, so this is the bladder. Then this would be the urethra. Here we go. That's the urethra out of the body, right? So the urethra goes through the glans penis out of the body. So the male's urethra is much longer than the female urethra. All right. So let's go over the parts of this. Sorry, I'm looking for a picture. Should have done this before, I apologize. We're gonna go through the parts and the words, and we'll talk about how the reproductive system works. So during development, in order to determine male versus female, the first thing that determines that are your genes, okay? In your genome, you have 23 pairs of chromosomes, 22 are called autosomes. The 23rd pair is called sex chromosomes, and they determine your gender. If you are XX, you are a female. If you are XY, you are a male genetically. If on the Y chromosome, there is something called the SRY gene, and the SRY gene is what stimulates the development of the, they're called bipotential gonads. So before the gonads develop in either to an ovary or a testicle, they have the ability to become one or the other, and it depends on if there's the SRY gene. If there's the SRY gene, there's a series of things that happens, but basically testosterone begins to be produced, and testosterone will cause the gland to become testicles. If there's no SRY gene, then the gland will become ovaries instead. So if it's testicles, the testicles will grow, and the testicles actually are down here. There are two of them. They're called testes or testicles. There's a couple of root words for them, just to make your life difficult. They're not hard, but. So here it is. Okay, this is where sperm are produced. This is also where the majority of testosterone is produced, including androgen and also androgens, which are other male sex hormones. Okay, you will hear these called, like I said, testicle or testes. Same thing, different name. Let's do that. Testes. There's actually 4 root words for this, just to make your life easy. Okay. We have testiculo, we have testo. Those are super easy. Testiculo, testo. Okay, one for testicle, one for testes. Sorry, this is a little blurry. Okay. We also have orchio and orchido, similar to the orchid flower. Orchio and orchid. Okay. There's actually 4 root words for testicle. Okay. These are the gonads. These are where sperm are produced. This is where testosterone is produced. The testicle actually develops within the abdominal wall. Okay. Right before birth, the testicles will drop, and they will drop out of the body at that point. They are, however, held close to the pelvic cavity, because sperm do need to stay warm in order to develop properly. So they're close to the pelvic cavity, but not so close that they get too hot, because inside your body, clearly it's this enclosed thing. There's all these chemical reactions happening. Inside of your body is warm, and they don't need to be quite that warm. And so they have actually dropped, they drop out of the pelvic cavity, and they hang in the scrotum, excuse me, where they then stay there, but they drop into the scrotum actually right before birth. So hold on, so let's just go that really fast. Okay, it's just a sac of skin, basically. Sometimes during birth or before birth or whatever it may be, the testicle does not drop. Okay, if it doesn't, that has a word that I need to find on here. Crypto. Crypto means hidden. So some boys are born with cryptorchidism, okay, which is a condition of a hidden testicle. And it can be one or both. And basically the testicles did not drop like they were supposed to, and so they will actually go in and surgically pull the testicle down into the scrotum. While we're on this, we were just talking about how the testicle produces testosterone, and also I use the word androgen. Andro means male. So androgen, genesis, genic all means like beginning or creating, right? So creating a male, these are some of the hormone, there's a hormone class, androgens, where they are some of your male hormones that make a male, basically. Okay. Sitting on the posterior side of both testicles, there is a convoluted tubule that has been mashed up that is called the epididymis. Color here. It's not the color I was hoping to get. Okay, so right here, this is called the epididymis. I should have used a different color, but oh well. The root word is epididymo. Okay, this, after the sperm are produced, oh, sorry, you can't see that. After the sperm are produced, they mature in the epididymis. So the epididymis, it looks like it's just a single sac. Let me see if I can find a picture. It is actually like this long tube that's been like compacted into a, here we go, compacted into a very small spot. So if you can see this right here, give it a second. Okay, so here's the epididymis. You can see that it's actually this tube that's like been stuffed inside this very small space. Okay, the sperm are produced. They are produced here in the testes, and then they will travel. They will swim their way through the epididymis. As they are swimming their way through the epididymis, they are maturing. And by the time they get to the end of the epididymis, they will then be a mature sperm cell. Okay, located in the epididymis, there's nutrients and other things that help them to basically do their job. Mature to strong sperm, that's their job. Okay. Okay. So, actually, well, yeah, let's put that on paper and then I'm going to show you another picture. Okay, derma, you should already know that's skin. We're just going to label that just because you already know that one. All right, so we have these sperm, and I found a picture of sperm that I was looking for earlier that I couldn't find, so let me show it to you. Okay, here's what sperm looks like. Okay, you have what's called the acrosome, which we were talking about, not only helps the sperm get through the reproductive system of the female, but it also helps to break through that first layer of the egg, so it can fertilize it. And that has a large nucleus. And then it has what's called a mitochondrial spiral. If you remember back to your biology days, everybody says, what does mitochondria do? And you all say powerhouse, right? You all remember that? So the mitochondrial spiral attaches, or basically is wrapped around the flagella, the top of the flagella. Okay. Why would we need the powerhouse right here? That's because this is swimming for a very, very, very long time. And a lot of time it's swimming against gravity. And so it needs a lot of energy. So it actually has this basically an energy producing factor right at the beginning of it, like a factory, which is actually pretty cool. All right, moving on. So sperm are produced in the testicle. They then swim their way through the epididymis as they mature. And then when they get to the end of the epididymis, they are going to then swim through a long tube called the vas deferens. The vas deferens, like I said, long tube. This pencil is broken. Okay. It goes up through the scrotum or the scrotal sac. Okay. Around the pelvic bone. And then it comes to here. Okay. It's called the vas deferens. If you were to see a root word with it, it would just be vas. Okay. This is the vas deferens. Vas deferens. Okay. Okay, so we have vas deferens, it's basically a duct that passes from the scrotum into the abdomen, where it'll eventually empty into the urethra. Okay, so we have the vas deferens, move just a little bit, which is basically just a passageway for the sperm to get to the end result. Okay, so vas deferens. Here at the vas deferens, right by the vas deferens, there's a couple of different things. Let's slow this down just a little bit. You can see, we already talked about, this is where the bladder is, right? Right where the vas deferens begins to enter into the urethra, we also have another little gland right here that is called the seminal vesicle. Where the vesicle is, the seminal vesicle specifically is producing a secretion that is part of semen. So semen is a fluid. It has a variety of things in it, including sperm. One of the things produced, it will not just one, it produces a fluid in general, is through the seminal vesicle. So there's actually 3 different things here that are going to contribute to the semen production. We have the seminal vesicle. We have just, let me get a different color here. System. Right here, it wraps around the urethra. You have what's called the prostate. Root word is prostato. This is the prostate gland. Root word prostato. It produces a milky substance that helps to give the nutrients to the sperm. As a male gets older, the prostate gland can actually begin to swell. And it can become difficult for them to urinate because it's basically a donut that wraps around the urethra. So if it swells, it will actually start to close the urethra off. Prostate cancer is a common cancer in males. They can do the DRE, digital rectal examination. They can actually feel the prostate gland to see if it is the size that it's supposed to be. Okay, the last thing that's going to contribute to semen, okay, is located just after the prostate gland. You have this small little bulb right here. Okay. This is called the bulbourethral gland. Bulbourethral gland. I don't know where to put this. I'll put it up here. Okay, so we have these 3 things: the seminal vesicle, the prostate gland, and the bulbourethral gland. They produce nutrients. They're also producing they just produce the fluid that is sperm, or not, that is semen. They're producing they also produce, part of the fluid that is being produced is a neutralizer, so that as the semen enters the vagina up into the uterus, it helps to neutralize the acidic environment of the vagina and of the uterus, so that the semen has a better chance of surviving. The sperm have a better chance of surviving. So we have these sperm that are produced in the testicle. They mature in the epididymis. They travel up the vas deferens, and then you can see here they join together. So the sperm are going to first with the seminal vesicle, where the fluid is starting to be produced. As it enters into the urethra, you're also getting the fluid from the prostate gland. And then just below that, you're getting the fluid from the bulbourethral gland. So at this point, we now have semen, excuse me, that can then leave the body. Okay, so this is how they're interconnected. Okay, we have the bladder emptying into the exact same place that the semen is entering. They're all entering into the urethra. So this is why the male reproductive system and urinary system are studied frequently together. It's the same doctor, is because they are interconnected. It is humanly impossible to use both functions of the urethra at the same time. Okay, so if semen is in the urethra, urine cannot pass the urethra and vice versa. Okay, so we have the urethra, which we know is this, right? And the urethra leaves the body through the penis, or the glans. Penis is actually the correct name for it, urethra. New color. Okay, either or. The root word for it is balano. Balano is the root word for the penis. B-A-L-A-N-O. I didn't write that very well, but you can see it there. So balanitis would be inflammation of the penis. Okay, but this is where the semen then leaves the body, right? So this is the male reproductive system. There are two more words that I just realized we haven't done, but we've talked lots about them. We have sperm and spermato. Okay, these are both spermo and spermato are both referring to sperm or semen. If a male is not producing enough semen or enough sperm, oleospermia would be scanty sperm, right? There are spermatocides, okay, which are chemicals that kill sperm. They're frequently found in condoms. Spermatogenesis is the production of sperm, just like oogenesis is the production of an egg. All right, that's it. That's the whole unit. That is the male reproductive system in a nutshell. Okay, this will be the last lecture for this class. Okay, I want you to reflect. There is a reflection that you need to do in Canvas over what you've learned this year, which is actually pretty incredible if you think about it. Like I said, you've learned pretty much 1,000. You've learned a new language in essence. You've learned 1,000 new words, and that's pretty impressive. So make sure you do the reflection, and there will be a quizzes, end of unit quizzes that you can take anytime before basically next week. It's already posted. You can take it whenever you would like, but it is no notes. So make sure that you study first, because studying is important. Okay. Hold on a second. The computer's doing a little spinny thing.